G'day, so we're here today at Darko headquarters in Sydney, obviously Australia, and we're doing a wrap up of the Canyon Talk. Now you might have seen the bike review in the magazine last issue. Well, we ended up holding onto the bike a little longer. Scott wanted to put a bit more time in on it. It's a bike that's really been exciting for him, and yeah, it's a bike we've done a heap of trips with. So today we're gonna have a bit of a wrap up chat, but first off, Scott, run us through the main figures for this bike. People might not be familiar with it. Give us a bit of a hit for some of those flat lines.
Yeah, so this is their big sort of aggressive enduro slash sort of free ride bike. This thing comes in a couple of different build options. Mullet comes in a 27.5 inch only option, 63.5 degree head angle, 77.5 degree seat tube angle, super aggressive burly bike. So
super slack, lots of travel.
Yep.
What sort of riding is this designed for, and who's it designed for, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, the figures alone speak for themselves. I mean, you know, as you know, JT, and as you know, the rest of the crew at home know that that Revolution come from a very gravity-fed background. So this is definitely in line there with the style of bike that I like to ride personally. Yeah, 100%. So, if you're the type of person who really likes to explore the sort of outer realms of MTB, enduro, free ride and whatnot, but you want a bike you can pedal, then the Talk's for you.
So this is a lot of bike. Now, one of the things with this bike over the time, we've had it 6 months or so now, we've been pedaling a lot. We haven't just been shuttling, right? So this thing, how does it sort of pedal? I mean, being such a beast down the hill, does that mean it doesn't want to go up the hill, or what's its personality like?
Well, that's the thing. Like, we've tested a lot of sort of enduro slash free ride, like longer travel enduro bikes lately. And one thing I got to say about this thing is this is on the lighter sort of end of the market. So this thing definitely isn't a pig to pedal. I'm actually surprised that some of the EWS racers didn't maybe go towards this rig for the EWS race bike, because it does pedal that well.
And that's one of the things about Canyon. They have a massive range. Obviously, there's a Spectral, shorter travel dually. You've got the Strive that obviously Jack's been smashing it and killing it on. And then we've got this big bad boy. And then obviously you've got the downhill bike. So with quite a lineup, where does this thing kind of slot in?
Yeah, so this bangs in right between the Strive, which is like their pure enduro race bike, and obviously the Sender being their all-out downhill bike. So if you're a gravity-fed guy, you're not a pure downhiller, but you want a bike that you can still pedal all day long, pedal at the top of the hill, but once you get to the descents, you can really sort of be aggressive, and you want a bike that's super stable at high speed, something that's still nimble, still corners really well, but something you can pack up in a bike box and go to Medina on, pack in a bike box, you can go to Whistler on, but it's still going to be super good to do shuttles on your local trails. Then this is the sucker for you.
Mate, one of the things about Canyon, obviously they have some of the nicest frames, like super high quality German engineering and all that kind of jazz. From literally end of the bike to end of the bike, there's like no sort of missed. But they also represent really good value for money. Now I know this bike, like most of them, there's a bunch of different spec options. But yeah, tell us a bit about sort of the value for money and some of the bits and pieces you're getting for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, as touched on before, you get a couple of different options in relation. This is a standalone 29er. I mean, this is one of the bigger bikes. I mean, I'm 192 centimeters tall, so this suits me. However,
what size is this one?
This is an XL.
This is an XL, okay, it's a big bike.
Big bike. So, but you can get this in a mullet, and you can also get this in a standalone 27.5 inch wheel, but it runs a 180 fork on the front.
Okay.
But on the frame alone, it's a full carbon front end, it's a full carbon rear end as well. Obviously, it comes in a couple of different spec options. I mean, this is the all Shimano XTR and Fox build, DT wheels as well, race face carbon cranks. However, you prefer a RockShox build with a SRAM, they do that as well. So, and there's a few different colors and whatnot as well. But as far as like a bike goes, which is a full carbon bike, which is as nice as this, bang for your bucks, you can't beat them.
Mate, tell us a little bit more about some of the geometry you touched on before. Obviously 63.5 degree head angle, super slack. Mate, so it's designed obviously for speed. That's super slack and laid out. But how does it handle on the tighter stuff? Is it still a bit nimble, or is it just a real pure speed machine? Like, is it still kind of agile when you want to play around and hit jumps and cut some corners?
Funny enough, like, you still know you're riding a bigger bike, but due to the sort of the weight saving with this bike as well, even on some of the tighter stuff, it's no secret that we're based in the Blue Mountains. We ride a lot of very rough terrain, a lot of technical stuff and that as well. So That was one of the things, even from the original sort of, first look review that we did on this bike, one of the characteristics of this bike was actually how nimble it was in a lot of the tight stuff and how well it pedaled over a lot of those, undulations when you're sort of going on a bit of an enduro mission, So up and down, pedaled amazing, a really, really nice suspension platform on these. That's obviously attributed to the really, really nice Fox suspension platform as well. Yeah. However, overall for a big bike, this thing climbed unreal. It handled the tight stuff remarkably well, but when you pointed it downhill on the descents, it was still really confidence inspiring on those descents as well. Yeah. Awesome rig, yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So it's a real all-rounder, and as you sort of touched on before, it's definitely one of the lighter 170 purebred bikes we've had here at the mag. And yeah, just the whole build quality of things off the charts, as we've sort of come to expect from Canyon. We've had a few Canyon bikes in for review recently, and they've never sort of failed to impress, and it looks like the torque sits right up there with that high bar. Well, the bar's already been raised, and
for sure,
just hits that again. So that's our wrap-up review of the Canyon Torque. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel. Be sure to like this video, subscribe if you want to see more, and yeah, we'll be coming back with plenty more reviews as the year rolls on.